Hey world, what's going on with y'all? This is going to be a response to my previous video entitled Why Black Men Prefer to Date White Women Over Black Women. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and check it out. I'll provide a link below. You tell me what you think. Anyway, with all that going on, I decided to do this video and discuss what's going on with us as black men and point out some of the things we should work on. Now, even when you just say a black man, there are plenty of things automatically associated with that. Some are bad things and some are good. You know, some things like body physique. You know, we make some of the best athletes. Our women love us. Now, I don't care what they say or how much they complain. Statistics show out of all women, black women are least likely to date interracially. Now, with all that said, there are plenty of bad things automatically associated with a black man. And, you know, we shouldn't be surprised to hear this either. Now, again, what I say doesn't describe each black man individually, so don't comment, nigga, I take care of my kids. That ain't about you. Also, whatever it is I say are reflections of what I see in my environment. So I don't know how things are for my black folks in other places like Africa, Europe, or the Caribbean, but you know, don't exclude yourself. Now, to get started, I think there are a large number of us who basically got our priorities fucked up. And many of us are programmed to follow this lifestyle that leads to destruction, or in other words, makes things harder for us in the end. I think when it comes to money, we just need to do a better job at managing and spending, you know. I feel that we're under this plague to show off our wealth. You know, we feel the need to spend all our money on the biggest rims and chains. Funny thing is, I don't hear nobody talk about Gucci or Louis like black folks do. Yet when you do a little search to see which race is doing the best financially, it ain't us. Not that all of us can't afford no Louis or Gucci. You know, I'm sure many of us can, but you know, when you have this idea that a man is measured by the clothes he wears or the car he drives, you know, what does that say about us as a people? And with all that going on, you know there are going to be many who, you know, they hood rich. You know, they still reach for those high dollar items, you know, even though when they know they shouldn't. You know, fake it till you make it. As if you make it. As if we have issues settling for middle class. And you know, we gotta floss too. You know, they got money, they invest in an IRA or a 529 plan for their kids. We get money, we buy jewelry to match those rims. And you know, sometimes I think for many of us, we are the most materialistic group of people. I mean, I even saw some video of some boxer rip up some money just to flush it down the toilet. What are you trying to prove? That you got money? More money than them starving kids in Africa? I was playing this video game. Anyone that knows Street Fighter knows they got a boxer on there. Anytime he lose, what does he say? My fight money! So now it's come to the point where the media can put our foolishness on blast in front of the whole world. And, you know, they're not wrong for this because that is how we are. And I'm not saying that don't buy nice things or don't strive for wealth. I'm just saying spend wisely and don't give that much importance to money and material things. And don't be that clown who insists on flaunting their fortune in front of everyone. Also, how many times y'all heard of these black athletes filing for bankruptcy? Mike Tyson made over $300 million, lost it all in 03. I bet you white people were laughing their ass off at him. And you know, they should have been. Vegas accidentally became a nicer place overnight because of him. And I know not all of us are like that, you know, but we just need to get rid of that image. Also, there are too many athletes that over time become broke. Now, I think throughout the world, people don't view us as a very smart group of people. Despite the fact that we got a black man in the Oval Office, plenty of us have graduated from some of the most prestigious universities. I think the world sees us as the group who's physically gifted, but mentally, not so much. And you know, obviously there's always going to be members of each race who aren't the brightest tool in the shed, but for some reason we're seen differently. And I think a lot of it stems from one, so many of us coming from ghettos, and two, the people in our community with the biggest voices that represent us.
Are coming up for Congress real soon. What's your thoughts on voting?
My thoughts on voting, voting cool, voting good. Though I'm gonna keep it real though. Nah, bro, I can't do it. Keep it real. Like voting good though. Like you supposed to vote. Like you supposed to really get into it. Them folks talking about. I don't know that. Hey, we gotta run that back, man.
And while I've met plenty of other brothers who can express themselves articulately and intellectually, I've also met plenty of us who seem content with being a jackass. I remember I had a class not so long ago, and we used to have a group, I think it was about 3 or 4 dudes that they would always sit in the same area together. joking and stuff. One time the teacher asked this dude a question. He just stopped lecturing and asked this dude a question in front of the whole class. This fool, you know what his response was? Huh? Teacher knew he didn't know the answer. He ended up making fun of this man in front of the whole class. And everybody was laughing at him. Even he was laughing. And I'm just sitting there like, wow. Your mama let you out the house like that? Everything humans went through, we've evolved throughout time, went through the civil rights era. And this dude responded like a caveman. I really think they should have examined this dude's head. They probably might find some taco meat up in that bitch. I think being that ignorant has just become accepted in our community. I honestly don't even know if this dude passed the class. They whole group should always sit there finger twisting their hair with their bottom lip open. Like Shaq. And I know I'm not the only one that's seen these fools looking dumb in front of the whole class. Sitting there with snot dripping out their nose. Like, hey, your brain dripping out again. We gotta do better than that. I'm not saying that everybody should be out getting MBAs and PhDs, but damn, even black women are out doing this as far as graduating and getting degrees and stuff. Not that getting degrees is everything, but we also got to learn to work on ourselves. If your 8-year-old comes up to you asking you what that word is, you shouldn't have to tell her you don't know. Go ask the teacher. Now I know there's gonna be a group watching this video like, you just called all black people dumb. No, I said the world sees us as dumb. Even though there are many of us who are smart, had you been one of those, I wouldn't have had to be saying what I'm saying right now. Another thing the black man is known for is abandoning his kids. Now again, I know this ain't everybody. I know plenty of men out there that take care of their kids, regardless if they were the kid's mother or not. Thing is, and actually I tried doing a little search on black men abandoning their kids, came across a percentage amount, and thought this can't be right. So I'll just leave that up to my viewers to locate those stats themselves. Now with Deadbeat Dads, this has got to be one of the most selfish things you can do as a man. Is not be there for your kids, especially during the most critical years of their lives. Then when they get older, you try to get back in their lives after they done started to resent you. I'm hearing it's like that throughout many places in Africa too. Many of those dudes walking around with this belief that knocking up women is the ultimate way to signify you're a man. So they'll just impregnate many women and be gone before the lady even gives birth. Now this is a bad look because not only do the statistics exist here in the US, but also in Africa. That implies that there's this genetic link to deadbeats that span across the ocean. We got to do better than this, regardless of reasons why so many end up in these positions. Now when it comes to reasons why dudes abandon their kids, I don't really know why, but my guess is mainly because money ain't always right. They ain't too happy with who the baby mama is. And just as I explained in my first video, many guys need to select their partners more wisely instead of getting mad because the one that got pregnant was one of your jump offs. Which, real quick, if you're a female watching this, I'm gonna tell you something some guys probably don't want you to know. For most of us, every girl we come across is a hoe until proven innocent. Some of us can be convinced easier than others. For example, that's why some guys will go out and marry the very first thing they come across. Others, no matter how much they're convinced, all women are hoes. So it ranges from different guys all across the spectrum, but one thing we all have in common, we all want a classy woman that's not a hoe. We just want to fuck a lot of hoes depending on their level of holiness before we meet that one special prize. What does that tell you? You don't want to be a hoe? Stop being a hoe. Now another thing we seem to be known for is sex. Our sexual prowess, where we have a high libido, which ain't always such a bad thing. I mean, nobody wants to be the guy that can't get no play. We're all sexual creatures by nature, but the thing is, even for fat girls, eating cake ain't bad. The problem is when it starts to become excessive and starts to affect other aspects of our lives. If you're a fat girl, don't eat a little bit of cake. She'll be getting mad at the consequences. In our case, I've noticed a few things wrong. I got some friends who, they're just hoe driven. Their whole lifestyle revolves around getting at these females. And I was talking to one of them one time about his Charger, because I like to talk about cars. And he was telling me about how he got his car sitting on 24s. Then he told me, wait till I get this candy paint. I'm be getting all these hoes. 24s be getting hoes. And I'm just like, you letting these hoes determine what you drive? You'll drop 20 something thousand on a car just to get at these females? I mean, if you really like it, by all means, but don't buy stuff as a gimmick to get at females. That's fake. And we need to stop objectifying these women too. We can't just assume that every lady we come across is a hoe, then get mad when she turns out to be a smart, respectable woman who's uninterested in your foolishness. And honestly, I really don't see the big deal with hoes anyway. I mean, as much as I like ass, I'd much rather have a chick with brains. Maybe that's just me, but also I have this belief that much of our personality traits are inherited from our parents. You know, like the saying that the teenage mother gives birth to a girl, that little girl is likely to become a teenage mother herself. Well, shit, in that case, let me go ahead and get a classy woman. In that case, I won't have to worry about kids touching their toes in front of a webcam. Anyways, the other thing I want to point out about sex is all this cheating. Now, really, I don't know how much this applies to us as a whole, but it kind of seems like a prevalent issue, though I know a lot of it is going on with women too, as well as outside of the black community. But I guess maybe we're just known to put it out there more. For example, if any of y'all seen any of those Maury Povich shows, the black man always be getting caught. And many times them fools will fail a lie detector tests, get caught filling up some hole in a hidden webcam, and still deny doing anything. Fellas, if you ain't ready to settle down in a long-term relationship, don't get into a long-term relationship. And actually, that's one thing I don't like about that show. You know, the black man always fail a test, but every time they got a man that passed a test, it's a white dude. Fuck out of here. Also, you hear a lot about cheating going on in our music. It's your R&B music. I remember when R came out with all that Trapped in the Closet series. I was interested at first. Thought I would be able to make it throughout the whole series. I think I only saw, 3 videos? Maybe 4? I had a friend come up to me once, a Mexican dude, ask me, "Hey, did you see that new R. Kelly, Trapped in the Closet?" I was like, "Nah, man, can't do it. That shit's making my people look bad." And he told me some nonsense. Oh, the hoe he was cheating on her with some cop who was fucking with a pastor that got shot by the lady he was cheating on, or some bullshit. I'm just saying, if you really love the one you with, you wouldn't let your hormones guide you into the legs of another woman. You know, I got another friend who was cheating on his woman. You know, the one he was cheating on got 2 kids. Now he just cheated on his whole family. And the fucked up part is men always feel the need to tell everybody. You know, gotta tell the homies. That's why we always end up getting caught. I don't really think we have enough hobbies in our community. Not that the lack of hobbies is a huge issue, but when you talk about the psychological impact it can have, or how it can be linked to someone's career choices when they get older, I think it can become pretty important. One thing though, I think we need to be more open-minded about the things we value. Most people I know all value the same shit, you know, cars, shoes, hoes. And what the fuck is it with this whole Jordan craze? Niggas will do anything just to get their feet into a pair. And I'm over here seeing news reports of dudes brawling and shit all for some retro kicks. And I ain't gonna front, I love me some J's too. Biggest Bull fan, been rocking J's since I was about 7. Even just got me a pair of Bred 11s and 13s. Tell me I gotta wait in line for 5 hours? With y'all niggas? Fuck out of here with all that. I do believe y'all can kiss my ass on that one. I ain't that damn patient. I got lucky enough to have people cop it for me, but I ain't gonna wait outside no mall just for it to close, just so it can open again, just to get some shoes. And I kick it with a lot of folks who collect shoes as a hobby. You know, I'm not saying it's a stupid hobby. I'm just saying that the fact that you gotta wait outside a mall for several hours, like Black Friday for sneakers, is bullshit. And I know somewhere in those lines, there's someone who only wants them just because everybody else do. A fad. I'm just saying, we gotta branch out and learn to experience new things. You know, white folks out there snowboarding and shit, working on computers, running 5Ks. When's the last time you heard a brother say he training for a 5K? Many of us don't even know what a 5K is. Too busy out there playing Madden. We're out there selling dime bags and shit. Read a book. Learn a new musical instrument. Learn a new language. I saw a video of some white boy who was learning Chinese. He never been to China, parents ain't Chinese. He just wanted to learn the shit because it was different. Then when he gets older, he probably didn't even realize it'll benefit him in corporate America. And we out here fighting for a pair of kicks.
One of the first pairs. What's your name, sir?
Curtis Solomon. I'm a shoe connoisseur. I've been getting shoes. It was crazy out here. Like, you know, me and a group of my friends, you know, from Lakewood, we get a lot of money, so it's nothing to us to buy shoes. Man, we just came up here, you know, to have fun. Like, you know, we get money, boys. We get money. We came up here to have fun, man. There were people trampling, people overpaying tennis shoes.
Now, when it comes to hobbies in relation to career aspirations, again, most people I know all follow the same shit. Everybody want to be an entertainer of some sort, whether it be an athlete or a rapper. Not that winning these things as a career is bad. I mean, getting paid to do what you enjoy, that's a beautiful thing. But why do we gotta follow such trends? I mean, I say the word entertainer alone, and that already incorporates a large percentage of black men. And what is about 3 in 10,000 kids playing ball in high school will make it to the NBA? And I bet a large percentage of those guys, that's all they have their mindset on. Parents probably told everybody their baby's gonna be the next Michael Jordan shit. I wonder what percentage of NBA players now parents told everybody their son's gonna be the next Michael Jordan. Instead, they just end up scrubbing the sidelines, or end up being the next Jason Caffey. And the same thing goes for becoming a famous rapper. I mean, I know a lot of aspiring rappers, they all telling me the same thing. I'm gonna make it. I know I'm gonna make it. You know, I think at one point, deep down, they recognize the odds of becoming discovered and making it big. It turns into hope. They hope they get discovered. And I mean, I'm not trying to shit on nobody's dream. I mean, if you feel that's your calling, go and do what you do. You know, all I'm saying is be realistic. You know, if you want to be a famous rapper or NFL great, that's good, but have a backup plan. And I don't mean, oh, if I don't make it to the NFL, I'm going to put these rhymes in their face. These rhymes. Also, just because everybody in your hood is trying to play ball, don't mean you wouldn't be good at something else. I remember I was watching a talent show. I think it was America's Got Talent or one of those. And they were showing a bunch of contestants in a room, and one of them I saw was this little boy, black, probably about 7 or 8. But I remember seeing him and thinking, you know, this kid's gonna rap. When it was his turn to perform, sure enough, guess what he ended up doing? And I love rap music. Been listening to rap music since I was in, elementary school. But come on now. I don't know this kid, but I was able to predict what he was going to do before he did it. You know, white kid goes up on stage, we don't know what he's going to do. We need to stop sticking to the same old thing. We should encourage our kids to branch out. Go to law school, study medicine. When's the last time you heard a black person say their child wants to work for NASA? And you know, there's nothing wrong with desiring something that actually contributes to society. Also, another thing we need to see is the way society designed it is that so that you get your education, you become an adult, you find your place in the workforce where you become financially secure, then you go out and you have kids after marriage. You know, there shouldn't be no shortcuts, you know. Oh, I'm an adult, I'm gonna break this bitch off something special. Then you have added responsibility but no money. You know, that's not fair to our kids. I mean, would you rather be born to a family that's financially free or pinching pennies? Final reason. Many view us as the most violent race or group who's most likely to commit a crime and end up in jail. And you know, I'm sure most of us have went through the time where we're at the grocery store and an innocent old white lady sees you, so she clenches her purse a little bit tighter. You know, it's definitely happened to me. You know, that's just the way the world views us, despite that it's always the white guys that's committing the most mass murders and shooting up schools or doing the most, John Gacy, Jeffrey Dahmer type stuff. You know, they view us as the worst. And the thing is, when it comes to these little petty crimes, many times it is always us. Any of you ever hear about a murder or some criminal act on the news or somewhere, and you're able to predict the race of the suspect before they show a picture? And we can blame it all on slavery or the fact that many of us came from ghettos and stuff. We're raised around violence, which is true. I mean, we are a product of our environment, but at the end of the day, we're the ones responsible for what we do. You can't justify knocking over a convenience store because of some horrible upbringing that you were brought into. If that were the case, many serial killers would be able to do that too. I don't know, some say it's white folks that designed the system. The white man always trying to keep a brother down, that's all. Regardless of who's at fault, we need to learn to take responsibility for what we do. And I know for many black folks, that's hard to do. Many are just too used to putting the blame off on others. I had one girl see my first video and admit that there is a problem with black women and obesity, then turn around and say, maybe if you black men didn't stress us out so much, we wouldn't eat our emotions away. Now come on now. And many of us will never learn until we've sat in a cell for long enough. And many of us are just prone to violence. I mean, we're raised to have that rebellious behavior. We have to show everyone around us that we're the most alpha and, we're physically dominant. We're untamable and resistant to authority. And my question is, why? I've seen many fools walking around in public just mean mugging, walking around the mall, probably pushing a, baby stroller with a smug look on their face. What for? Malls were built to target shoppers, mainly old white hags with their husbands' credit cards. And you want to be the baddest dude up in that? I mean, no matter how tough you think you are, there's always going to be someone who's tougher. Why don't you try that shit around some of them cage fighters? Nah, we don't want to do that. We just want to stick to late night brawls at the local IHOP. And if we don't got our posse with us, we'll be quick to grab the steel, no matter how soft the other dude was. The best invention that the black man has ever made? From the racist white man's perspective, the single best thing that the black man has ever invented was black on black violence. Think about it. They don't gotta kill nobody. They don't gotta do nothing except sit there and watch black folks kill each other. One dead, the other locked up. Two birds, no stones. And while they sitting back watching the show, they probably eating peanut butter sandwiches or, some potato chips or some other black invention. I saw a news report the other day, 2 dudes fighting over the same chick at a club ends in murder. Then we wonder why society views us as this animal-like buffoon. And it's like that throughout many places in Africa too. Kids running around with AKs and shit. And we'll get mad when white folks make references to us as monkeys. Meanwhile, there are species of apes that kill, steal, and rape. Some will kill other competing males and others will kill for invading their territory. Sound familiar? Also, so much of our youth is inspired to be thugs at a young age. Look at who our biggest role models are. And I'm not saying don't fuck with hip hop or nothing. Again, I grew up in hip hop. The issue is when these kids like to idolize these guys real close, so close they feel the need to imitate, live the lifestyle. Why is it that in our community, the ones considered the realest are never known to be graduates or anything positive? They're just known to sell dope. One thing I don't think people realize is that throughout history, different societies have always had thugs. There were always kings or chiefs or some type of supreme ruler. Then you had the wealthy and middle classmen. And below them you had the poor people and thugs. And that's the route that so many of us choose. And even though nobody wanted to be in the lower class, you couldn't get rid of thugs. They're like roaches. Though today we'll usually strive to be the one thug that makes it to riches. The one guy that's dressed in a suit and tie in an upscale restaurant with the tattoos and jewelry everywhere. No college education, just sitting among those rich white folks, claiming that God was looking out for a nigga. And then why is it that in our community, even when you make it to the top, you have everything, money, hoes, respect, you still become a primary target? Shit, I remember hearing a while back, Rick Ross was riding around in his Rolls Royce. Some fool started shooting at his car. You're supposed to be made and stuff, yet the hood follows you. And you know how many times I heard fools say Scarface was their inspiration? Because it had showed Tony he was poor before he had got rich. Clowns don't even realize there is a moral to the story. And we got so many that want to take after that and get into dealing. And usually I don't knock nobody's hustle, but if you're a father and that's your only method of getting money is trapping, you should be able to look your child dead in the eye and say, I have failed you. I couldn't use my brain to support you, so I'm gonna risk my life and freedom for some chump change. Now, one last thing I want to touch on. I'm sure many of us have heard that while we make up a small percentage of the population, we still make up a large percentage of inmates. I even saw some study the other day that there are more black males locked up than are enrolled in colleges. I don't even know how true that is, but regardless, we gotta work on that. Also, black criminals are on average locked up longer than white criminals who commit the same crime. You know what that means? Start committing a crime and you're gonna get locked up longer than the white guy over there. Easier said than done for many. And I know a lot of people that live by that saying, it ain't illegal until you get caught. Those are usually the people that end up getting caught at one point. And I know there's the group of folks that simply just don't care about getting caught.
Man, I ain't scared to go to jail. Take me to jail, man. Would you speed up, please? Shit, I want to go back. I got all my cousins, everybody up in there. I'm waiting. I want to see all my friends.
And what else can I say? I know the shit ain't fun. The whole world moves on while you're sitting in the cell. Probably end up having some other clown taking care of your woman. In closing, let me say I'll more than likely end up doing a series of videos to discuss some of these things individually. I'm already going to have to do that with my first video. Anyways, don't forget to rate and post your thoughts. Alright, y'all. Yeah.